Hey, thanks for checking out Coffee with Brett. I hope that you're enjoying the series. If that's the case, would you just do me a favor and like this video and then subscribe to our channel and click on that bell icon so that you can get notified when we release new episodes. In fact, if you're into the topic of today's video, which by the way is essentially about what questions to ask project managers in job interviews, if you like that topic, you're going to want to check out the next episode as well, which is going to be all about how to answer these questions. So yeah, click that bell icon so that you know when that one's ready as well. All right, so you might be prepping for an interview. Maybe you're the interviewer and then you have no idea how to assess a project management candidate. I mean, I get it. It's really tough to assess for PM skills. Or hey, maybe you're a PM going into your next interview and you're just trying to prep yourself for some curveball questions. Well, good for you. You've totally got this and I'm here to help. So I've interviewed countless project managers in my career, both as a VP of project management looking to add PMs to my team, but also as a consultant helping companies to find great PMs to run their own projects. I love talking to PMs, and I've come up with 5 questions that I think help to not only assess skills for PMs, but also help to assess your team fit. After all, it's not all about creating and managing plans. I mean, yes, you do want somebody who can manage a project, but you also want to find an individual who fits in with the team and with your company culture. So trust me, I know it's tough stuff finding a good PM for your team. When I worked in an agency, I think I interviewed no less than 25 people to fill one single role. The candidates ranged from very professional PMPs with great track records to newbie PMs who were visibly shaking during the interview. Oh, and I'll never forget the time someone showed up with a half face of makeup. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get just based on a resume or a cover letter or even initial phone screen. People are people, and there's no singular profile that constitutes a good PM. So you need to use your interview as your ways to not only assess skills, but also to explore their personality type and how they work and how they might be able to relate to your team, to your stakeholders, and honestly to your projects. I personally always look for someone who comes off as comfortable and confident because I know that person will likely be in a situation or two where things do get uncomfortable. And I want them to be able to have a personal confidence to really navigate that kind of awkwardness on their own as a project manager. Does that mean I trick them into some kind of awkward situation or conversation during the interview? No, absolutely not. I actually think it's terrible when people play games in interviews, and project managers are not folks who play games, so level with them. Get straight to the point and talk about the role and how it's valued and how it's handled in your organization, and then jump into some questions. Okay, on that note, let's jump in so that I can give you a set of questions to work with and we can kind of keep this short. So my coffee is gonna get cold. Well, actually, it won't get cold in this cup, but that's okay. All right, so first, ask what drew them to project management and this role specifically. You probably already know this, but project management isn't really something that folks study in college. Actually, let me correct myself because that's changing and growing. I've had the opportunity to teach some classes and even guest lecture at some universities and even high schools. But PM isn't a central focus of programs in schools. So many people end up in PM for a lot of different reasons, or they end up just learning on the job. Actually, that's how I got into it. But you want to know that they're actually a PM and that they're actually invested in project management as a career path. So this question allows you to hear a little bit about what it is about the role that appeals to the candidate and really to assess whether or not that aligns with your organization's vision for the role. I'd also dig a little bit deeper on this question and make it a conversation about how they got into PM and some of the specifics about what they've done as a project manager. I'm talking about tasks and project types here. Getting that level of detail is important because there are variations on the PM role from industry to industry and even company to company in an industry. You want to find the person who fits with your flavor of project management. I think this is a good way to get into the interview as well, just talking in the open about the role and their desire to fill the role. So next, I would ask, what makes you a great PM? I think this is a natural second question that not only gets the candidate talking about themselves more, but also opens up the conversation about where they might add value to your team. I also think so many PMs tend to be behind the scenes and don't get a ton of feedback about their work, so it gives them a chance to sing their own praises. After all, you want someone who's confident in their work and will tell you what they actually do well. So on that note, the next question will probably make sense to you. I always follow that question up with, well, hey, no one's perfect, so where do you think you could use some improvement as a project manager? I'll admit, this is a curveball early on in an interview, but hey, PMs are constantly thrown curveballs, so any good candidate will be ready to answer this question effortlessly. You want them to put it all on the table so that you can discuss the details and dig into what they do well and where they might actually need some improvement. I mean, I know I'm not a perfect PM, so I'm not expecting a unicorn here. But what I am looking for is a PM who is unabashedly honest and transparent and knows that it's impossible to be perfect in this role. So this question helps me to assess that. Next, I try to get into their actual project experience. If their resume points out specific projects, I might just ask about those. If I'm feeling like I want to dig deeper, I'll ask something general like, hey, tell me about a project you managed that was a challenge and how you handled that challenge. Easy question, right? It's another tough one, I'll be honest. But listen, if you talk to a PM who says that all of their projects come in on time and under budget, your red flag better go right up because no one has that track record. Actually, if you do, call me or comment below. We definitely need to talk. But let's face it, there are a ton of challenges a project manager could face on a project. So hear those things out. There's a lot of information to be gained from a personal account of what happened on a project. You'll learn about project types and scopes, team makeup, stakeholder interactions, and even leadership and communication styles, which is so important. There's so much that will paint a clear picture of the PM that you're talking to. So I'd listen and learn and ask follow-up questions about things that happened, how those things happened, how they handled them, and how they felt about the outcomes. Again, make it a conversation and relate the story to your own experiences and how similar things could happen in your organization or with your teams. I'd approach this part of the interview with a little bit of empathy. If you've worked on projects, you know that things can get tough. So if you want the true story, express what you've been through and that you've been there and that you get it. Essentially, this is a reminder to interviewers that your interviewee is gauging their fit with you just as much as you are with them. As much as someone might be dying to get a job interview, they want to make sure it's right for them. So you need to come to the table with the same level of honesty and expertise that you expect of your interviewee. And also, please make it welcoming and comfortable. Cold interviews are a waste of time. Be human. Even if you recognize the candidate isn't the right fit after the first question, that's okay. Just don't be rude. Hear them out and give them the respect and the professionalism that you'd expect in that situation. At the end of the day, the interview is a reflection of you and your organization as much as it is about the candidate. All right, so I'm going to give you one more question that I think that you should ask a PM candidate in an interview. And it's, how do you keep up with what's happening in the industry or with project management in general? So this one is less about kind of how they handle situations and more about how seriously they take continuing education and being a great project manager and a great employee. So I'm not saying I'd only hire people who make time to learn, but I do think it's a great quality to be a learner. Those are the people who grow in their careers and in their organizations. So if you're looking for someone who's dedicated to their craft, you'll want to explore this with them. All right, so I'm definitely going to admit here that it's really hard to fit all of the possible questions you might ask in an interview in a really short video like this. So I'm going to offer more questions here on screen. Feel free to pause if you need to, scribble these down. I'll be right here. But just remember, you have to mix it up so that you can get a sense for how they work, for their personality, their history, and even some personal preferences. All of that's important. I hope that you found all of this helpful. In the next episode, I'll talk about how a PM should approach these questions or answer these questions in an interview. I'm going to need another cup of coffee for that. I think in the meantime, tell me what questions you like to ask project managers in interviews or about the approach that you take in order to assess skills and fit. Leave your comments in the comments below, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Hey!